Imagine a machine that can just scan the entire foundation of the internet.
Right, just looking for flaws.
Exactly. And it finds like 10,000 critical cracks in a matter of seconds. But it leaves us without enough cement to fix them.
Which is a terrifying scenario.
It really is. I mean, we're suddenly staring down a reality where an AI discovers global infrastructure vulnerabilities so fast that, well, human engineers literally cannot type quickly enough to patch them.
It's just wild.
It is. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Today is Saturday, May 30, 2026.
Yep, and we'll be looking back at the data collection period from May 23 to 30. So that's week 21 of the year.
You got it. This is Macroeconomy AI, and today's Deep Dive is titled AI Observatory, week of May 23 to 30, 2026.
I'm honestly just so thrilled to be diving into this one with you all.
Same here.
I mean, the sheer velocity of what transpired over these last 7 days, it makes previous tech leaps look like they were happening in slow motion.
Like we were standing still. And a massive thank you to all of you out there tuning in. We love taking this journey with you, sitting in on this conversation.
We really do.
So please engage with the content, drop your thoughts, keep the conversation going. But before we jump into the deep end today, a quick word from our sponsor.
Right.
This deep dive is brought to you by our dedicated partners channel, Macroeconomy AI, bringing a compilation of analyses and news on macroeconomics, technology, and artificial intelligence.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're proud to partner with innovators who understand that navigating this new economy requires deep, unbiased insight. So check out their platform to stay ahead of the curve in this rapidly shifting landscape.
Definitely do that.
Yeah.
Because, well, to really understand the forces reshaping our landscape this week, we have to start by following the money.
Always the money.
Always. The scale of the capital moving right now is, I mean, it's effectively rewriting the rules of modern finance.
Okay, so let's look at Anthropic, right?
Yeah, let's start there.
On May 28th, they closed a Series H funding round. And for those of you keeping track, a Series H is essentially the 8th major round of institutional investment.
Right, which usually signals that a company is making its absolute final financial preparations before offering shares to the public.
Exactly. And they raised $65 billion in this round.
Wow.
Billion with the B. That pushes their total private valuation to a staggering $965 billion.
Which is just a stone's throw away from $1 trillion private valuation.
Yeah.
And that officially leapfrogs OpenAI's March valuation of, what was it, $852 billion.
Yep, 852. So Anthropic is now the most valuable AI startup on the planet.
Setting the stage for what looks like a massive October IPO.
And they're not going public alone either. If we look at the analyses from IG International and HPC Wire, we are like standing on the edge of an unprecedented IPO wave.
It's massive.
It is. SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic are gearing up to collectively raise nearly $200 billion from the public market.
That number is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
I know. I have to throw an analogy at this because the numbers are getting so large they feel abstract, you know?
Go for it.
It feels like we are building a global intercontinental high-speed rail network, laying down millions of miles of track, buying massive fleets of trains, but doing all of this before a single passenger ticket has ever been sold to prove the route is even profitable.
That's a great way to put it.
So how is an ecosystem burning this much cash financially sustainable?
Well, honestly, that is the defining tension of the entire tech sector right now.
Yeah.
The capital requirements to train and run these frontier models are unlike anything in the history of business.
Yeah.
OpenAI is openly projecting a $115 billion spend over the next 4 years.
Wow.
And meanwhile, Anthropic is reportedly paying SpaceX $1.25 billion every single month just for compute power and data infrastructure.
Wait, over $1 billion a month just to keep the lights on and the servers humming?
Exactly. Just for that.
That is insane. I mean, if NVIDIA's projections are accurate, global AI infrastructure spending could hit $4 trillion annually.
Yeah.
If they're burning cash at that rate to build the infrastructure, these upcoming IPOs have to be like absolutely flawless.
They do, which introduces a severe structural risk that IG International calls valuation anchoring.
Okay, break that down for us.
Sure. Imagine you own a house, right? And private appraisers keep telling you it's worth $1 billion.
Must be a nice house.
Very nice. So you anchor your entire financial reality to that number. But when you finally put it on the public market, everyday buyers look at it and realize, oh, the house costs $100 million a year just in property taxes and upkeep.
I see where this is going.
Right, and it doesn't generate enough rent to cover that yet, so the public market refuses to pay the billion.
Leaving the early investors trapped in a house they literally can't sell.
Precisely. It leaves legacy investors, think Microsoft and SoftBank, in a highly illiquid position.
Right.
They've been using these massive private stakes as proxies for their own AI exposure. If the public markets balk at a $1 trillion price tag for a company with massive capital expenditures and, no traditional history of profitability.
The ripple effects will just crush the valuations of the legacy tech giants backing them.
Exactly.
Okay, before we go any further down this financial rabbit hole, I need to give a quick, crucial reminder to you listening.
Good call.
Our discussion here about market conditions, upcoming IPOs, and valuations, this is strictly educational.
Yeah.
It does not constitute investment advice. We're just analyzing the macro landscape here, not telling you where to allocate your portfolio.
Absolutely, because, due to that massive valuation anchor we just discussed, these companies are forced into a very aggressive strategic corner.
How so?
Well, you can't justify a $965 billion valuation by being a niche premium tool. You have to become the undisputed, ubiquitous utility for the entire global economy.
Right, you need everyone using it.
You need absolute market share, and you need it immediately.
Which perfectly explains the brutal race to the bottom we saw this week in pricing.
Oh, yeah.
DeepSeek, the Chinese AI startup, just made the 75% price cut on their flagship V4 Pro model permanent.
Permanent. That move fundamentally alters the economics of running an enterprise.
Seriously.
It shifts AI from a luxury software expense to like a basic, cheap utility, like electricity.
It really sets a completely new floor. Their costs are now between 0.0035 and 0.87 per million tokens.
Unbelievable.
To put that in plain English for everyone, running the DeepSeek V4 Pro is now about 28 times cheaper than running OpenAI's GPT 5.5.
28 times.
Yeah, and they manage this through advancements in Huawei's Ascend 950 chips and something they call a compressed attention mechanism, or CSACA.
Right. And if you're wondering how a compressed attention mechanism drops costs so drastically, think of it this way.
Okay.
Older AI models were like students who, every time you asked them a question about a textbook, would go and reread the entire 1,000-page book before answering.
Which takes massive computational energy.
Right. Massive. But this new mechanism allows the AI to only read the specific, highlighted summaries that are mathematically relevant to your prompt.
Oh, wow. So the compute required just plummets.
Exactly. And so does the price.
And Google isn't sitting on the sidelines either. At Google I.O., Sundar Pichai dropped Gemini 3.5 Flash.
That was huge.
It is. It's 4 times faster than rival frontier models and costs 50% less.
So with prices plummeting across the board like this, you have to ask, who is actually winning the users?
Well, the RAMP AI index data for May 2026 just came out, and it tracks actual transactions from over 50,000 U.S. companies. For the first time ever, Anthropic's Claude has overtaken ChatGPT in U.S. corporate adoption.
That is a massive shift.
Yeah.
Anthropic hit 34.4% paid corporate adoption, while OpenAI slipped to 32.3%.
Yeah.
And to fully grasp that trajectory, just 12 months ago, Anthropic held roughly 9% of that market.
9%.
They quadrupled their enterprise footprint in a single year.
And general corporate AI adoption in the U.S. just crossed the 50% threshold. So half of American businesses are paying for this stuff.
It's everywhere.
But the global picture is where the geopolitical friction starts showing up, I think. Microsoft's first quarter global AI adoption report shows 31.3% of the U.S. working age population uses AI, compared to 17.8% globally.
Yeah, the strategic risk highlighted in that report is a widening capability gulf. You have the global north sitting at 27.5% adoption, while the global south is lagging at 15.4%.
That's a big gap.
It is. That is a massive productivity disparity baking itself right into the global economy, even with rapid adoption growth in Asian markets like South Korea and Japan.
Now, if you are a software developer listening to this next statistic from the Microsoft report might make you sweat a little.
Oh, definitely.
Global push commits for code grew by 78% in that same period.
That metric is honestly fascinating because it shatters the assumption that AI is simply replacing developers.
Right.
Instead, the AI is generating code so quickly that it's radically increasing the volume of output. Human developers are now spending their time managing, reviewing, and testing a massive tsunami of machine-generated code.
But those developers are starting to change how they interact with the AI to handle that kind of volume.
Yeah, they have to.
We're moving away from the chatbot era, where you ask a question, get a block of code, and paste it over. Users are now turning the models loose to do the work themselves.
Yes.
We have officially entered the agentic shift.
The agentic shift. The paradigm moves from a tool you wield to an entity you deploy.
I like that phrasing.
A chatbot sits idle and waits for your prompt. An agent acts autonomously on your behalf, navigating complex systems to achieve a broader goal without you holding its hand.
A perfect example of this is Gemini Spark, which was announced at Google I/O. It's a persistent 247 agent running on dedicated virtual machines in the cloud. You don't even need your laptop open. You give it a massive multi-day task like, I don't know, auditing a huge database or monitoring network traffic for anomalies, and it just runs continuously. It operates inside Chrome, integrating with external tools all by itself.
And when you have an intelligence running 24 hours a day without human fatigue, the ceiling of its capabilities rises dramatically.
So true.
We saw 2 instances of superhuman achievement this week that prove exactly what these systems can do when left to run.
Okay, let's start with the math world.
Good one.
On May 20th, OpenAI announced that an internal reasoning model seemingly refuted the 80-year-old Erdős math conjecture regarding unit distances in a plane.
Unbelievable.
This is a geometry problem postulated back in 1946.
And the outcome is historic, but the mechanism of how the AI solved it is what really has mathematicians stunned.
How so?
The model didn't use traditional geometry. It used tools from algebraic number theory, specifically concepts called infinite class field towers and the Glodjevarovich theorem.
Okay, if that sounds like pure jargon to you listening, think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to solve a seemingly impossible two-dimensional Sudoku puzzle.
Right.
Human mathematicians have been staring at the flat grid for 80 years.
Decades.
Then the AI comes along, decides to fold the paper into a 3D origami shape using the rules of a completely different game, like chess.
Yeah.
It solves it instantly and then unfolds it back to a flat grid to show us the answer.
That's brilliant.
It made a creative cross-domain leap that no human had thought to try.
And top mathematicians from Princeton are validating the result right now. But that same creative cross-domain problem solving becomes significantly more alarming when applied to our digital infrastructure.
Which brings us to Anthropic's Project Glasswing. They gave 50 major partner organizations, including AWS, Apple, Cisco, and JP Morgan, access to their frontier model, Claude Mythos Preview.
And what happened?
Well, I assume these companies would just use it to write more efficient software.
Most people did.
Instead, the results were genuinely jarring.
Claude Mythos autonomously identified over 10,000 high and critical severity vulnerabilities across global infrastructure and open source projects.
10,000. We're talking about a 27-year-old flaw buried in OpenBSD, a 16-year-old vulnerability in FFmpeg.
It's crazy.
And the one that really stood out, a flaw in Wolf SSL that would allow attackers to forge TLS certificates for billions of internet-connected devices.
To understand the gravity of a forged TLS certificate, you have to realize that TLS is the cryptographic protocol that guarantees you are actually talking to your bank's website and not a hacker intercepting your connection.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Forging those certificates is like an attacker printing flawless, undetectable master key ID badges that let them walk into any secure digital building on the planet.
And Anthropic included a very sobering warning with this data. They stated that the speed at which this AI discovers these vulnerabilities already far surpasses the human pace of correcting them.
Right.
But let me pause you there because this feels like a paradox.
How do you mean?
If we deploy an AI that finds thousands of critical vulnerabilities faster than human engineering teams can patch them, aren't we just automating the discovery of our own infrastructure's collapse?
That is the million-dollar question.
We're building a machine that catalogs every crack in the foundation, but we lack the human labor to pour the cement.
You have zeroed in on a fundamental security asymmetry. Historically, cybersecurity relied on an uneasy balance between offensive hackers and defensive patch writers.
Right, a back and forth.
But AI has shattered that equilibrium. Scanning millions of lines of code to find a 27-year-old flaw takes the AI seconds.
Seconds!
Organizing a human team to write a patch, test it across legacy systems, and deploy it globally takes months. The human patch cycle is officially broken.
So the only logical solution is to have an AI agent on the defense, writing and deploying patches autonomously, because humans are simply too slow.
Exactly.
We literally have to hand the keys to the infrastructure over to the machine just to keep it safe from the machine.
And that profound realization that human processing speed is now the primary bottleneck in our own technological ecosystem is exactly why the smartest minds in the industry are suddenly accelerating their timelines for artificial general intelligence.
Or AGI.
Right, AGI.
Case in point, Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind and a Nobel laureate in chemistry. He made waves this week speaking at the Stanford Graduate School of Business and in an interview with Axios.
He drastically revised his timeline for AGI.
He did.
His previous public estimates placed the arrival of AGI somewhere between 2030 and 2035.
Now he's firmly pointing to 2029.
3 years from now.
3 years. He told Axios, "We can see the agents happening now and imagine what they will be a year from now." He didn't mince words, explicitly calling this a species-level transition.
Comparing the management of this transition to the discovery of nuclear weapons or the onset of climate change.
Wow.
The crucial difference being the velocity. Hassabis noted that this technological advance is happening about 10 times faster than the Industrial Revolution.
I have to ask, though, are we getting caught up in alarmism?
What do you mean?
Hassabis also mentioned Waymo testing AI models with imagination to react to unseen traffic situations, bridging video generation with real-world physical decision-making.
Right.
It's incredible tech, but is it truly a species-level shift or just the next phase of software evolution?
Well, the global response suggests that governments and corporations believe it's the former. We are witnessing a massive, coordinated scramble to build guardrails in real time.
That's true.
This week alone showcased a tripartite response across corporate, social, and legislative domains.
Let's break those down for everyone. On the corporate side, OpenAI published its Frontier Governance Framework.
Yep.
They're proposing actual industry standards for evaluating these frontier models, setting up risk categories, and demanding third-party evaluations.
It's a preemptive strike, really.
Right.
They know that if the industry doesn't standardize its own safety protocols now, panicked lawmakers will impose draconian regulations that could inadvertently dismantle the underlying architecture of the technology.
Then, addressing the social impact, Microsoft implemented aggressive new measures against AI-generated non-consensual intimate imagery, or NCII.
This targets a truly devastating human consequence of the technology. Bad actors are using open-source models to generate fake, highly damaging imagery of real people.
It's awful.
Microsoft is deploying new detection, removal, and prevention mechanisms across their entire platform ecosystem. They're reacting to mounting global pressure, demanding that tech hosts take legal liability for the destructive outputs of their tools.
And that leads perfectly into the legislative scramble. Down in Brazil, the federal government is actively pushing PL 233823.
Right.
Dario Durigan, the special secretary of the National Treasury, was out publicly defending an adaptive, risk-based regulatory framework.
And that Brazilian legislation is heavily inspired by the EU AI Act. The mechanism here is classification by impact.
Okay, so how does that work?
If an AI system is deemed high risk, say, it affects medical diagnoses or criminal justice decisions, it faces strict transparency requirements and civil liability.
Makes sense.
But if it's a low-risk chatbot for customer service, it faces lighter rules. The goal is to enforce safety without suffocating innovation, and it's entering a decisive voting phase right now.
So we have OpenAI trying to self-regulate, Microsoft heavily policing outputs, and governments rushing to build legal frameworks.
All at the same time.
All while the models themselves drop in price by 75%, solve 80-year-old mathematical mysteries, and expose 10,000 security flaws.
It's a lot.
If you're listening to this, how do you process a week where the foundation of the future is being poured at light speed?
If we synthesize everything we've unpacked, the astronomical valuations forcing price wars, the persistent agents finding flaws at superhuman speeds, and the compressed 2029 AGI timeline, it brings up a staggering new concept for us to consider.
What's that?
We always assumed the human economy would simply adopt AI. But as we deploy autonomous agents to fix the vulnerabilities found by other agents, we are laying the groundwork for a machine-to-machine economy. We're approaching a horizon where AI agents will negotiate with, hire, and pay other AI agents to maintain our digital infrastructure, operating at a speed and complexity that humans cannot even monitor, let alone control.
That is profound.
The ultimate bottleneck is no longer compute or intelligence. It is human trust.
The idea of an economy functioning entirely in the background, machines hiring machines while we just watch, it's a lot to process.
It really is.
Well, before we wrap up, I need to share an important formal note. This content is exclusively informative and educational, compiling public market data. It expresses no ideological bias and does not constitute investment, financial, legal, or tax advice. Past performance does not guarantee future returns, and economic and technological projections are subject to revision. You should always consult qualified professionals before making any strategic or financial decisions.
Knowledge is the most valuable asset, but applying it requires careful, personalized context.
Well said. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us for this deep dive into a truly historic week. We appreciate your time, your curiosity, and your willingness to explore these massive shifts with us. We invite you to join us for our future sessions as we continue to track this unbelievable trajectory.
Can't wait.
That was today's Macroeconomy AI. We'll leave it here. You all stay well and keep an eye out for our new broadcasts. Subscribe to our channel, access the links, and follow Macroeconomy AI on social media.
Bye.
Bye.